Welcome to Google Weekly.
Welcome, my name is Bjorn Barrett, and this is the Google Weekly Podcast, which is part of the AskBG.net network of EdTech services. Never stop learning. This is episode 23, Collaborating with Hojoki, recorded March 3rd, 2012. Welcome, everybody, to this week's Google Weekly Podcast. We have a great interview coming up later in the show with Adam Bannister of Hojoki. Cool little program, and I'm happy to have it on the show. Before I get to the interview, let's talk about what's new in Google. The first thing, there's a new way to manage the control panel administrators and privileges. In the past, it used to be by user, so you'd have to set each user's privilege, and that would be a problem if you're trying to set all the teachers to have rights to reset passwords and such. Right now, you can set up roles, so I can have a teacher role, and that role has rights to just change passwords. I think that is the best example in education that I can think of for this addition. The next thing is Google Vault, and this is an archiving, retention, and ed discovery capabilities. This is not a cheap option. I think someone on the listservs looked and they were told $50 a user. And I can't really see what the real difference is between the Google Apps Vault and our friends over at what CloudLock is doing, other than Google Vault is a Google product, and it doesn't seem to be directed toward education at all. It's all a business app. So that's Google Vault. If you're in education and you like what they're offering, check out CloudLock. There was a few episodes back I interviewed Gil from their company there. And the next thing is visit the Amazon with Street View. This is really cool because they have the Amazon River and they've done Street View of it. So if you go to their website, and I'll put the link in the show notes, it's Street View, but you're on the water and you're kind of going through the Amazon here. I don't know how much is recorded, but it was kind of cool. You're going through and you're actually on the water. If you turn around backwards, you have the, you can rotate. You can actually see the boats trailing of the water and all the trees around here. So that must have been a funny sight. You have the swamp machine with the big Google camera, spinning camera on top. But that's nice. It has the Amazon, and check that out. That's really fun. I think the kids will enjoy it. And a great way to look at the foliage and a great way to connect with places other than where you're at. I mean, I'm in Vermont, so Amazon is definitely a world away. Moving on. Next thing is, do not trust any post made by Google on April Fools. This is a tradition of Google that they will post very real-looking posts out there, and all in April Fool's fashion. And the ones that I saw this year were the email tap, and that seems to be one of the more popular ones that were out there, and that is, let's see, 26-letter QWERTY keyboard it's really small when you get it onto a phone, and they said it would be faster to use Morse code. So they have two buttons, a long and a short. And they even went even crazier and says you can actually use this to send two emails at once and have two different keyboards going on. Just because it's two buttons, you can take up less space. So that was email tap. They have Project NASCAR, which is an autonomous race car, aka no driver. And I think while this was an April Fool's joke, I bet you they're going to actually have this. I can see it in the future. Just not this year. The next one that is fun is multitask mouse. So you have two hands. Why not have two mice and do two things at once? And that's multitask mouse, and you can go to the website and check out their demo of that. The next thing is maps for Nintendo. And I'm at the right age where Nintendo was incredibly popular when I was into all the video gaming and things like that. And I had my little Nintendo and played, I just played Mario Brothers mostly, and Duck Hunt, and kind of all the ones that just came with it. But they've made maps one of the April Fool's jokes was maps for Nintendo. So it had a very, Zelda. There you go. Legend of Zelda style maps for Nintendo. And they came up with a nice graphics of showing the world and how there was like a voice recorder that you can actually input your voice and it would go straight to it. So it was a kind of cool little thing. You can watch the video on that. And that's going to finish up with what's new in Google this week. And let's go on to the interview. Welcome, everybody. I am here with Adam Bannister of Hojoki with a really cool product. I haven't really seen anything like this. This is kind of like a combination of social networking, added in all your other products, and everything put in together. So, hi, Adam. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks very much. Yeah, it's good to be here. Good to talk to you guys.
Okay. Now, Adam, you are the community manager for Hojoki. And what does that make you? I mean, what role do you play here?
Yeah, so I'm basically the bit in between the developers and the higher-ups and the people who use the product. So I'm for feedback and to help out whenever I can with support issues, as well as keeping in control of the social media and the blogs and that kind of stuff.
Well, I have to admit, I was playing around with this thing, and I did not really grasp how useful it was until, a couple hours ago when you actually created, it's called a workspace with me.
Yeah.
And we just started collaborating, and I brought in some Google Docs, and it really was a great experience.
That's what we want to do. We want to bring a layer on top of everything you already have. So we want to add a collaboration suite on top of all the apps you already use, because we see that we don't want to replicate the apps that are already there because they're a finished product and they're perfect. So we want to just add something that they can't really do themselves, which is combine all of them.
Yeah, I would have to admit it did it well, and I think we're going to have to talk about like what it actually does. We started this in the middle of the conversation. So let's just start at the beginning. What is Hojoki? What was the goal for creating it, and how's it work?
Yeah, sure. What you do is you just sign up quite simply with either a Google account or a Facebook account or your own email address and your password. And from there, you add a few apps. You can choose many of the Google apps, so Google Docs, Calendar, Reader, all like most of the main ones are supported. We also have things like Dropbox and Evernote and Mendeley and all the major apps really. We try to focus on productivity because we are focusing on like more of a work-centered view. So we're basically a Facebook, but instead of a newsfeed from your friends' pictures, you have a newsfeed from all your colleagues who are working on whatever they're working on. And then what you can do is you can monitor all of the updates in one place, in one stream, and then you can make sub-streams off that called workspaces, as we were talking about, where you can invite others and you can share other things. You can share your updates with them and you can discuss the updates all in one place. So it means that you can have one group or one workspace for one class, say, if you want to use it for education, or if you want to do it for like a company, you can have it for one workspace for, say, a marketing team or something like that.
Yeah, I thought it was quite helpful. I mean, just on the first layer of things where I started adding in my Google Docs and my Google Reader to it, and Twitter, I think, are the ones I've added in here. Mm-hmm. And you just click on, it's called My Cloud, which is kind of like the home. Yep. And I'm watching all my updates happen. So I'm like, even the shared documents, it just kind of popped up with what's new. I know Google kind of has it, but yours gave a nice little collaborative way of doing it. And then, like I said, we added the workspace to it. So it was a place that you and I could actually collaborate together. And we had the show notes in there. It took me a little bit to figure out how to add the show notes. And that was just because I guess there's something called versions, or it got added in twice.
Yeah, no, it was a case of you updated it twice, and Hojoki doesn't want to spam you. It doesn't want to say, you've updated a file, and so on, just the same thing. So it just groups them all and says, you've updated a file, say, 15 times, and then if you want to share it, you just click on 15 and you can see all the individual activities of that one file. So you have a full history of each update. You can see changes over time and who's been working on it when, and basically just complete history of all your files.
I thought that was a really great feature, and it really gave a nice conversation. I mean, we were sitting there chatting back and forth. Like a threaded chat, or the only thing I can think is almost like a Google Wave, but done better.
Yeah.
So, one thing I was looking at, you have a very mobile-ish interface. Do you guys have a mobile client yet, or are you guys working on one?
Yeah, we're working on one right now. We plan to release it at the end of this month, and we're going to support Android as well as iPhone as well.
Yeah, I immediately looked at it because if you look at it, if you click on the workspaces, it literally slides back and forth. Mm-hmm. So it's in a browser, so it would work on a Chromebook or work any browser out there. Yeah, and I get that really cool feel that you want to get from the mobile interface.
Yeah. No, and even for a Chromebook, it's almost perfect because we just support all the most popular apps you'd use on a Chromebook anyway, and we just bring them all together.
Now, how long has Hojoki been out there?
We launched in December of last year, and so that's been 4 months, I think, and we're in public beta at the moment. And it was founded last year in the early stages of the year, so March. And from then, I was just working on the platform itself, getting it together.
So you guys are still really relatively new and building this up quickly, aren't you?
Yeah, it's fast paced. We're constantly adding new apps. We're adding 3 a month at least, and we're also adding extra features to the workspaces to make them even more relevant. Trying to make collaboration as easy as possible across all your apps, really.
Now, I didn't get to read the policy on this one. Are you going to have this as a single? Is this something you're going to eventually add to the Google Apps Marketplace, so I can bring it into my school?
Well, at the moment, we're on the web store.
Okay, you are there.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to look yet.
No, we're in productivity, and I think it's Office applications, I think.
You're going to have to get into the education world, because this looks like a really... I'm just seeing a great use for collaboration. I can create just a section for my class and just literally talk about it. So I'm excited to see that you guys are in the app marketplace, and you're so new. Do you know about how many users you have?
We have. I think on the web store itself, we have over 15,000.
For a startup company that's less than a year, for just over a year old, that's amazing. And kudos to the product. I really like using it.
Yeah, thanks very much.
And the other thing about this, and this is probably why it's going to be a little bit of a shorter show here, is it's a very simple product to use. It's powerful in the fact that you can bring everything together and the way it works, but it's simple in its usage of this. So it was easy to jump in and work with. I think the power really came when you and I started collaborating back and forth in a workspace. Mm-hmm. So I think that's really where, if you are testing this, so any listeners who are testing this, grab somebody else that you would be working with. Either try it with your students or try it with colleagues, and really bring it up there. It's a great remote way of bringing things together. And I just wanted to talk about, I played around with, the Google Docs, but I also noticed that I think with my reader, it brought in all these starred items. Is that what I was looking at?
Exactly. You can, just as soon as you start an item, it will pop up in Hojoki, and you can also then have it set up so that if you have like an economics class, say, and you want to automatically share all your Google Reader things from tagged economics, then as soon as you star them, it'll flow into Hojoki and automatically be shared with your workspace that you wanted to choose.
Yeah, I thought that was a great way for sharing bookmarks and sharing. Like I said, I could just see a lot of great stuff in education in this. The one app I was thinking about, are you working on Digo?
Oh, yeah, we were thinking, I think that's going to be in the next batch of editions, yeah. because it's very, very strong in the education field. Yeah.
Yeah, I that's what I've been using. I mean, I see you have Delicious up here, but I when I go to my college class and they give out a paper, I use that for annotation, and I've always created a group and shared it with the group. But I can see that fitting right in here perfectly too. I mean, yeah, I create the group, I share it with there, and create a workspace around it. And now there's a couple other ones in here that I haven't seen. So how does some of these other ones work with Hojoki? I mean, I'm just going to go through, let's say Google Calendar.
Yeah, Google Calendar, every time you create an event or update an event, it'll pop up in Hojoki, and you can click on the update and it'll tell you when it is. And yeah, every time you update anything, it'll always come in. And then you can set it up so that other people who are in the calendar get notified automatically, yeah. But going back to, is it Diego it's pronounced?
Diego. I could be wrong. I could be pronouncing it wrong. Diigo.
I'm always guessing myself. Well, yeah, it's been very highly requested, so I can understand why. Yeah, you see it that way now. But we should get that in the next month or two, or maybe 3 months maximum. But yeah, I think it's high on the list.
So at least you're updating, and this is what I like to see. I mean, you're a year into this, and you're continually growing. I do want to talk about, I see this get help here. I think that is one of the most underrated things with these applications is the help that it can support. And you have a very easy get help here button. Mm-hmm. Does this go to a chat or?
Yep. As soon as you click on that, you will either be talking to me, or if you're not talking to me, if I'm not, or one of the support team, if you're not talking to us, then you'll be sent to either our support portal or straight away an email to support@Hojoki, and then one of us will get back to you very quick.
And I think that's very, very powerful. I mean, it looks. I know you're new, and I haven't really had to try the support but I've like how easy it was to get there. And again, that's something for my teachers who are, who can get things, but still rely on that help every once in a while, and like the lessons and things like that.
Yeah, no, we wanted to be there just in case. It's better to play it safe than have people frustrated and walking away from your product. Or yeah, we don't want to cause frustration. We want people to be quickly able to, find help.
Okay. Is there anything else about this that I have missed? I mean, is there anything else you want to highlight? Like I said, I'm still new to this, so if there's things that you can point out that maybe I don't even know about yet.
I think mostly it'll just be that in workspaces you can share, say, a whole Google Docs folder, and then everything that's updated in that folder, then it'll be automatically into the workspace. And yeah, so then what you could do is you could share one with a class, say, and then everyone in that class would see as soon as anything's updated, or vice versa. You would see anytime, say, a student was to update anything.
See, this actually fits in nicely. I have a Google Docs classroom model that I do a lot of presentations with that work off of the concept of like a Dropbox collection and I think a View folder collection. And I can see bringing that entire thing into Hojoki and create a workspace around it. So now I can easily have a stream of what has been added, and a conversation can be built around that very easily. So, yeah, I'm excited for this.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. We want to make it so you don't have to go to your email client and say, hey, did you make a change in this? In all of your apps, we don't want you to do it for each app and log in and log out. We want it just so you have one place, you see it, and as soon as you see it and you want to say something, you just say it.
Now, I'm going to quickly ask about are you working, I don't think Google Plus has their APIs yet, so you can connect to them.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. With Twitter, can I make a Twitter post from this, or is this just reading my Twitter?
It's just reading it at the moment. We want to have it so that you can jump straight into the app, say, like our dream with Google Docs, for example, would be that you can just say, create new document from Hojoki, and then it brings you straight to the document. But at the moment, it is just one way, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to leave it at that because I can't think of anything else. Like I said, it's a great product. I've been happy playing around with it. I'm going to throw this question out here because this is off the wall, and I ask everybody I interview. Do you have any favorite apps? So any favorite apps in the on the Android phone or on the Chrome or even in the marketplace? Because part of the show is an app exploration.
Yep. No, I think my personal favorites would be, I think Google Docs, definitely, Google Reader, and maybe one. Are you familiar with Cloud App?
No, I'm not.
It's a Mac only application as far as I know, and it's kind of, there's a few similar ones out for Windows as well, where you just upload something and straight away it's uploaded, and straight away you can share a link and everyone can see it straight away. We have it into Hojoki, so every time I upload something, it'll pop up into Hojoki straight away, and it's just very, very easy to use and really, really intuitive. Yeah.
Yeah. The other one I see that you guys actually have in your apps is Evernote. Yeah. And that is, again, really big in schools too, with just note-taking and all the one-to-one products. So it's bringing in Evernote. It's bringing in Cloud App. I'm looking forward to looking at that. It's bringing in all the Google products, including Calendar, Reader, Docs, and really just bringing it into one nice stream. So I'm going to say thank you very much for doing that.
Well, thanks very much for having me on the show, and thank you for the listeners to listening in.
Okay. And that's going to be the end of the interview, and I'll move on with the rest of the show.
Okay. Best of luck then.
And that was the interview with Adam Bannister of Hojoki. Looks like a really great program. I encourage you to check it out, and I'll definitely put the link to his contact information and the website in the show notes. And on to the app exploration part of the website, part of the podcast. I am doing that again. The first thing I want to talk about is the app of the week from the marketplace, and that is Learn That World. This is a vocabulary and spelling tutoring online with a lot of great words and stuff like that. It has some decent reviews. Students like it. Great concept, fantastic resource. It says it has unlimited free accounts, but a free trial. I'm still trying to figure out how it works okay, unlimited free accounts, pay for the results. So it looks like you can go in, you can use it, but if you want to get the results from it, you got to pay for those, and it's pay per result on that one. So that's Learn That World in the app marketplace. And the next thing is the Chrome Web Store. And there's a new feature in the Chrome Web Store, or I should say a new search filter, and that is the trending view. And these are going to be the new popular apps that are out there within the Chrome Web Store. So I clicked on that and you decided to use that filter, and I came up with one called Page Edit. And this is kind of going back to those people who are still using HTML or want to tweak the HTML of a website. I don't fully know the capabilities of this, but it does look interesting, and it reminds me of, I remember seeing this in Netscape, I believe it was, way, way back. I think Firefox had a version of this where you can go to the website or an extension, and you click on it, and it would change it to the HTML, and you could edit the HTML right on it, and it would paste again. So this is not a new concept, but it's bringing it back, and it's brought it to Google Chrome. And so this is Page Edit, and you can go to the any web page, click on this Page Edit thing, and it will bring up the HTML file. I haven't looked, but I would hope that it has a some type of FTP thing where it could actually save the file and send it out. But kind of a cool little add-on and thing you could work on. And that's Page Edit. Let me quickly look at the reviews. And I see a lot of things in here. All I can do is save button, which will save the fixed directory set by the Chrome. Well, I'm not getting much from the reviews on this one, but I can definitely see that this is worth taking a look at if that is a feature you're looking at, or one that you used way back in Netscape time. Okay, and on to the Android app or Play app, Android Play app. I guess it's the Android Play app of the week, and that's going to be a flashcard machine. And this is not a free app. It's $2.99, and it has a lot of great reviews. There's 132 reviews on this one. Most of them, well over the majority, is all 5-star. And it allows you to either choose from some pre-done flashcards or maybe make your own. Study anytime, anywhere access. So it's a cool little flash utility for the Android Play app of the week. Check it out. And I think that's going to finish up the show for today. So thank you for listening to the Google Weekly Podcast with your host, Bjorn Behrendt. You can follow the podcast and contribute by going to www.google-weekly.net. You can also go to edlisten.com, which is now up and available to go to. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. I encourage you to get the conversation going around the show by posting comments or using the hashtag GWPodcast within your social network. Again, thank you for listening and never stop learning.
This is Torrance, and thank you for listening.